Gulls, or seagulls, are the ultimate feathered troublemakers. Though they look beautiful and charming, they have a notorious darker side. You can consider them as the bullies of the seas. Seagulls eat anything. They eat plants, seeds, seaweeds, insects, worms, clams, mussels, fish, crabs, shrimps, frogs, lizards, rats, rabbits, squirrels, or any other small living animals. Sometimes they gallop a whole squirrel in one go. Not only living, but they eat dead animals too. They also eat ice cream, pizza, bread, or anything from the trash cans too. With such a flexible appetite, they don't need to fight with others for survival, but they want more. Though they have enough options, they will eat eggs, chicks, or even some adult birds. Seagulls fly around and catch fish and worms, or any small sea creatures. But whenever they feel lazy, they fly and search for any other birds like puffins or terns that have caught some fish or clams. Well, a puffin is spotted by the beach. Now the gull goes to that puffin and threatens it to give him the fish it caught. If the puffin submits the food, it is spared. If it declines the offer, it is punched, kicked, and punished. Either yes or no, the fish is taken away from it. And in some cases, the puffin becomes the muffin. Seagulls emit bad guys vibes, so most of the time, the birds just throw their catch and run away from there. But the story doesn't end here. The seagull secretly follows it and locates its nest. When the puffin goes to gather food again, the seagull devours all its eggs or newly hatched chicks and flies away. Seagulls even eat eggs and chicks of ducks. If you have watched the mating video, you may understand the pain of a female duck to lay that chick, and the gull swallows that chick in one go. Not only other birds, many species of seagulls are cannibals, and they steal and eat other seagulls' eggs and chicks. And if they don't find food and are too lazy to search for it, they eat their own chicks to fulfill their hunger. Yup, they are some scary movie stuff when looked up closely. The seagulls pick fights with every possible seabird, even the big ones like albatross and swans. They even try to eat whales and sharks when they come to the surface to breathe. They peck hard, make wounds, and take a small chunk of flesh from their body too. They're straight-up bullies that threaten other birds and forcefully snatch the food from them. A report from UK shows that around 70% of coastal tourists have experienced food theft from seagulls. And around 20% were attacked by seagulls while trying to steal the food. So, in short, seagulls can be charged for thieving, robbing, assault, deception, property damage, vandalism, bullying, extortion, child abduction, and many more crimes. If you thought slavery existed only in humans, you have no idea how nature works. These ants are known as polyergus, or Amazon ants. They are considered the mob bosses of the ant world. The seagulls just stole a few eggs and chicks, but these sopranos steal the whole colony of ants and keep them as slaves. And they have been doing it for at least 5 million years. Yup, you heard me right. The slave-making tradition of these ants dates back to at least 5 million years. And with this long slave history, they are so dependent on slaves. If you remove the slaves from this colony, all of the polyergus will die of hunger, because they don't know what food is, how to gather it, or even how to eat that food. They all are fed by the slave ants. The Amazon ant colony consists of worker ants and a queen. The queen takes the responsibility of laying eggs, but doesn't know how to raise them. So they need the slaves to raise the kids too. The workers are the security guards as well as the raiders. Except guarding and raiding, they don't know anything else. They don't clean the area or stock the food for winter. They just attack other ant colonies and defend theirs when attacked by intruders. So food gathering, house cleaning, babysitting, and feeding, all is done by slaves. When the slave ants decrease in population, the workers set for all-out war to create more slaves. And the most favorable ants are the Formica ant species. First of all, 1 or 2 scouts are sent to locate the nearby Formica colony. When the scouts return, they tell the raiders the location of Formica and the size of that colony. Now the game is on. Hundreds of Amazon ants march into the battle with their razor-sharp teeth, or mandibles. Once they reach the location, the battle signal is given to the troops. The troops then swarm the battle territory with brute force. If there are around 5,000 Formica ants in that colony, around 500 Amazon ants can easily overwhelm them. They chase the whole colony away and kill the defender Formica ants. It's like a tiny version of Ocean's 11, but much more violent. Then they enter the eggs chamber. They don't steal food or anything else because they don't even know what food looks like. They just snatch up the Formica pupae and take them back to their home base. Taking turns, around 14,000 pupae are stolen in one heist. After the heist is complete, they put all those pupas in the care chamber where previous slaves tend to them and help them hatch. Once the stolen pupae hatch, they are brainwashed with some pheromone into thinking that the polyergus are their real relatives. From the day they hatch, they dedicate their life to the colony. Since Formica ants are worker ants, they gather food, clean the area, feed the polyergus, expand the nest, and take care of the eggs and hatch them. The Amazon ants just sit back, relax, and let the Formica slaves do all the heavy lifting. They are personal unpaid slaves for the Amazon ants, and they are so much brainwashed that they will die working tirelessly for those Amazon ants. They will even fight against their own species if required. They give their life for Amazon ants, never realizing that they are being exploited for their entire life. And when the Formica workers' population starts to decrease, another heist is done, and more slaves are added to the colony. Orcas, or commonly known as killer whales, are apex predators of ocean. Everyone knows they kill for living, but the killing method is a bit more complicated than you think. When orcas find small animals like penguins, otters, seals, or dolphins, they toss them in the air. They start playing with them either like volleyball, tossing to each other with fins, or like a football, kicking them with their strong tails. They even throw them at a long distance and see if they can still swim. The process continues until the prey dies of exhaustion and pain. Now I understand what Mom meant when she said it's bad to play with food. Some may say it's not that bad. They can do anything with the food they eat. But here's the catch. In several cases, the orcas play balls with those creatures, kill them, and then leave them after they die. They don't eat that food. They kill just for the sake of fun. They then search for another animal to play with. Some of my viewers who have watched these videos may not feel sorry for dolphins or otters, and I won't blame you for that. But some other small animals suffer from the orca's game of death. You may know by now that these animals are among the worst when it comes to mating. If you haven't seen the mating part, see that video after watching this. But mating is not the only case when they act like criminals. Their whole life is a combination of deception and fraud. Sea otters are bullies, just like seagulls. They threaten everyone around them, even the seagulls. The otters are lazy animals and want free food. If a sea otter sees an octopus or a lobster carrying some fish or clams, it will snatch that fish from them and even harass them. If they still resist to give the food, otters will resort to fighting and biting. And in some cases, the otter will eat them first and then take the fish to eat later. Male sea otters are highly territorial. They defend their land by any means possible. They are so territorial that if any animal or bird sits on their territory, they will chase them away immediately. If any other otter sits there by mistake, it's a death match. They even have their favorite spots like big rocks. If a small otter is found sitting on that rock, the owner of that rock will bully him, harass him, and even bite him. There are many cases of baby otters being bitten and injured just because of that. It may seem natural to chase away someone from their land, but sea otters are far more cynical than that. If a sea otter feels hungry and is lazy to catch its food, it will see if any female has some food. Once it finds a female and pup with some food like fish, it will instantly hold that puppy hostage and threaten the mother to give him that food. If the mother ignores, he will start beating that pup or even try to drown it. So, in most of the cases, the female will give the food to that male as soon as the puppy is caught. Then the pup is released unharmed after it gets the food. They do it even if there is food scattered around and the otter can just pick it up a few feet away. Maybe it gives them pleasure, I don't know. And, yeah, almost forgot their signature pose, holding hands while floating. Many see it as a true love thing, but let me break that bubble for you. They hold hands so that they won't drift away. That doesn't have anything to do with love or care. It's not a crime, but I felt like I should clear this confusion. These are among the most loved animals on the planet. They look like toys, and people like them a lot. Even you may like that cute, cuddly face with an innocent smile. But under that sweet look lies a top-class criminal, and you'll soon know the reason why. These pocket-sized furballs are ruthless creatures of the animal kingdom. They are highly territorial like otters, and you can guess the result. If a hamster enters another's burrow, the fight can lead to the death of a hamster. Losing life is a normal thing here, and it doesn't even bother them much. The hamsters have fast metabolism and are always hungry, so they raid any bird's nest for seeds and even steal food from other hamsters. Stealing in animals is not uncommon, but if a hamster is hungry and doesn't find food, it will eat another hamster. Hamsters like to live alone, and if there are too many of them in a small space, they will start eating each other. This may seem like an insane act, but it doesn't stop there. Let's say a female hamster gave birth to 6 pups. Every animal loves their kids, but the love of the hamster to her pups is so strong that she eats her pups alive. Yup, you heard it right. For example, if she feels stressed, well, she eats her own pup. If she feels threatened, she eats her pup. If the pup seems sick, she eats it. And if she feels like the pup will not get enough resources to have a healthy life, she eats it. I don't know if it's stress eating or ending misery for the pup, but munching on pups is a well-documented fact among the hamsters. If you have 2 hamsters as pets, I suggest you not to put both of them in the same cage, because one will eat another, sooner or later. Also, a fun fact about hamsters: if you give a cup of water and a cup of alcohol to a hamster, it will choose alcohol 100% of the time, because hamsters are alcoholic in nature. But we will talk about that in some other videos. We have a lot more animals on the list, but we will cover that next time. We have crossed 10,000 subs. It's a huge accomplishment. So I want to thank each one of you for that. And as always, I love you guys.